Do I look silly with? Oh,
Hi, everybody. How are you guys all doing? Of course, this is Connie from Connie's Creative Creations, and today we are going to do some crocheting. And we're going to make some granny squares. Now, my guest tonight is Sarah from Can Sarah Do It? And she's an amazing person when it comes to yarn, crocheting, knitting, all kinds of stuff. So, welcome, Sarah.
hello.
Thank you, Robin. I can't tell how I look. So tonight we're going to show our techniques because everybody crochets different. None of us crochet the same. None of us
Mm-hmm.
hold the yarn the same, not exactly the same anyway,
Yep.
or yarn or whatever we do. So we're going to both make granny squares, and I'm going to see if I can't. How am I going to do this? Because I want to show us both. So let's see. We do this. How does that look? Does that look
That's
okay?
good. What?
Oh,
Yeah, you can demonstrate, and I can always demonstrate a little too. Like I can bring my camera and point it at my hands for
yeah.
different
Okay.
parts. Yeah.
All right. So, gotta say hi to everybody. Hi, Robin. Hi, Rainbow. Hey, Billy. Hey, Eric. Uh, Jerry. Steve C. Liz. I hope I'm not missing anybody else. Okay. So what I've done is I've made a slip knot. Slip knot's very easy. You just fold over and under, and there's your slip knot.
Connie, I can hear a little bit of an echo. I'm wondering if your mic might be a little bit high.
It's coming from my phone.
Oh, okay.
I can't. It won't let me shut it completely off.
Gotcha.
I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. I just thought I'd tell you.
Yeah. Okay. So you put the crochet hook in here. Hey, Tiff. Hey, Linda. So to do a granny square, how many chain do you do?
I do 8.
And I do. Well, I usually do 8 or 10,
Okay.
depending on how small a corner. It doesn't really matter. It's however small of a circle you want. So there's 4, 5, 6, 7. Actually, I'm only going to do 6. So once you got your little chain, you slip stitch into your first chain, and you pull it straight through. That's a slip. So I've done a chain and a slip.
So
Then what we're
I'm
going
doing the magic loop method,
to, okay. I like those
and
too.
I can kind of show you. You do almost you just kind of
Here,
like
let me
loop.
show you. Let
Okay.
me put you on there.
So you take your yarn and you do kind of just like a loop like this, and then as you start crocheting, you crochet into that loop, and then when you're done you can cinch it by just pulling
Right.
on this loop. Sorry
No, it's okay.
if I'm not showing it that great, but
But
you
you know
can
what?
cinch it so it closes the hole in the center.
I just
Whereas the way
remember.
Connie's doing it, it's only as tight as it can be. Like as big as her hole is that she's got now, that's as tight as it can be unless she cinches it closed with a stitch. But mine, I can just tighten it with or loosen it with my
Right.
little thread, which Connie's aware of. I think you were using it the other night.
Yes, I was. It just depends. I usually use it when I'm doing um,
Like a stuffed
hats
animal. Oh,
and
hats.
stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the crown of a hat.
yeah, because you want to be able to close that up. Okay, let me switch me back. I'll show you how to do a granny square. Oops, wrong one. You don't want to see my face while I'm doing it. Okay, so now that I've got the circle, you're going to chain 3 chains. The reason I'm doing 3 chains is 3 chains is considered a double crochet. And we need 12 double crochets in, right? Yeah, yes. Okay. It's been a while since I did a granny square. So you're just doing them inside the circle. And what I usually do is I put my tail in a side there, so I'm going around it. So when I'm done, I can just cut it. Now, when you get 3 done, you chain 1. And then you do 3 more double crochets. And what that's going to do is it's going to start giving us our corners.
So wait, how are you doing your corner, Connie? Do you mind repeating?
1 chain. Actually, you know what? I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to do 12 double crochets.
Oh, are you doing
Then
2 in each?
I do 3. So 4. No. Oh, wait. What am I doing? How many double crochets do you do?
So I'm doing single crochet for my first round after my initial round. And since I have 8, I'm doing a single crochet. And then in the next single crochet from my first round, I'm doing 2 single crochets, chaining 1, and 2 single crochets into the same stitch. That's my first corner. The next stitch, I'm going to do 1 single crochet. And then the next stitch, I'm going to create another corner. So I'll do 2 single crochets, chain 1, and then 2 more single crochets.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 12 double crochets in here. And then I'm going to connect it. Then I will start making my corners.
Yeah, that makes sense. So you're making yours. I'm starting right away creating the square, and you're making yours a little bit bigger before you create the square.
Right. So
like Connie was saying, there's different ways to do it. And especially with crochet, knitting has more, let's say, knitting has more rules that are kind of accepted by the community. Crochet is a little bit more freeform. Sometimes crochet patterns don't always use the same abbreviations.
Right.
And it's so it people do things in different ways, and it's kind of based on who taught you.
Exactly.
Right.
Right. And my brother taught me how to crochet, and he was in he was in high school. He was at school watching this girl crochet, and he came home with some yarn and some a crochet hook, and started crocheting. And that's how I learned. I learned how to read patterns long after I actually knew how to crochet.
Oh, yeah.
See, so how I'm starting to get my square? I've got 1 corner and a half a corner already. Can you see that? I don't know if you can see that. And I do the single. So I always do a single stitch in between. And you do a single stitch in your corner. So you do 3 double crochets. And then a single stitch. And I'm not using what Sarah sent me. What the heck? Okay, so see there's 3. You do 1 chain, and then you do 3 more double crochets right into that same spot, and you end up with a corner. Yeah, I learned many years later how to ruffle, how to put stitches on top of other stitches to make it ruffle. Hi, Brenda. Yeah. So right in that corner. And I used to make the mistake when I started making granny squares. I made the mistake of putting my first corner first, and then it looked funny. It's kind of like lopsided. And so I finally figured out you only do the first 3, come back around and do the second 3. And then it looks normal. And that's where I'm at right now. See how I have my granny square? And this is my corner. So I put 1 single, and then now I'll put my other 3 right here.
I am going to move my camera so that I can show my work a little bit better.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, so there's my my little baby granny square. See? See how I have my little baby square? Okay. While she's getting that and she's showing that, I wanted to show you guys some fun things that Sarah sent me.
Oh, well, now I kind of want to see that, so I'm going to turn it back.
Okay.
Wait, put that on the big screen. I want to see what you got. I want to see you open it.
You want to see? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. First, she sent me this.
Is that not the perfect size for your big skeins?
Yes. Perfect.
So when you were like, had this big skein, I was like, I have the thing for you.
Exactly. So what this is it has a hole, and you put your skeins down in it, or your balls, which I'm going to put this ball in there right now. Well, I can't right now. I will in a minute because I already started crocheting.
Next time.
But so she sent me this, and inside of that.
And I put that little decal on the front too, by the way.
Oh, it is so cute. Okay, so she had these 2 skeins of yarn.
Have you worked with that before?
Yes, I have a long time
soft.
ago. It's very soft.
Mm-hmm.
And then she sent me this yellow and this pink. And this is called Snowflake.
It's kind of like chenille, but it's like softer.
It's really soft.
You know what? That's really good for like stuffed animals.
Yes. Yes.
I made Charlotte a little puppy out of that.
Oh, cool. Now this, I really like this.
That was my favorite one.
Oh, I love this. This is Luxury Collection. Alina, is that what it is? Allina.
It sounds right. It's a gradient
collection. It's very beautiful. It's got browns and purples and lilac. Very, very pretty. And then this last one was a brown.
Super
it's
bulky.
Called Uptown Bulky.
Yep.
Very.
And that's
they're
enough
all
to make a hat.
Yes. Yeah, I'm excited to do these. The reason I didn't use them tonight is because I didn't want to use them for granny squares.
You know, I went through my little stash of things that I wanted to keep from the store, and I tried to find things that didn't have wool in them for you.
Well, thank you. Yeah, if you guys all know, I am allergic to wool. So that's the worst part about being someone who works with yarn.
Yeah.
Hi, Doug. And hi, Zaina.
I'm going to turn my camera down so they can see my work.
And
okay, I'm going to
switch
start working
this.
in double crochet, and I'm going to just carry on working in the same way, but I'm moving from single crochet up to double crochet.
Okay. And
should I do half double? No, I'll do double. I'll do double.
Yeah, I do double.
Yeah.
Thank you, Zaina. Okay. So this is going to be now my next row. So you you do your chain, which is just 3. And then you're going to do 2 double crochets right into that corner. And that's going to make half of your corner. And like I said before, when you get back around, that's when you'll finish that corner. So now we have this spot here. So what we're going to do is we got to chain 1, put 3 in here. Our first time around that wasn't there, so we couldn't put 1. So you're just going to do the 3 double crochets, 1 single or chain, I mean, and you go right into that corner. And I'm going to put 3 double crochets, a chain, and 3 double crochets, and that's going to give me my corner. So just like that. Hey, Shay. Trying to keep track of the chat. And next week, my guest host, or my guest, is going to be Zaina from OK at Home DIY.
Oh,
So
she's the sweetest. I really like her a lot.
She is. I can't wait to meet up with her. I'm hoping when weather gets warm, we can meet. Because she only lives 4 hours from me.
So I think my piece is a really good way to explain the difference between a single crochet and a double crochet.
Here, let me put you big.
So if you can see from the bottom of my thumb to the top of my thumb right here, that's the height of my single crochet. And then over here, from here to here, that's the height of my double crochet. So you get double the height.
Right.
And where I was just inserting my hook, like so, wrapping my yarn and going through 2 like that, that's a single crochet. For a double crochet, you're going to wrap your yarn, insert your hook, wrap your yarn, pull it through. So now I have 3 strands of yarn on my hook. And you see I'm going to grab my yarn and pivot my hook, pull through 2, grab my yarn, pull through 2 more. That's a double crochet. And hopefully that's helpful to somebody.
Yeah, and then a treble is you wrap it twice before you go through your project.
Yeah. And then Brenda, you pull, and then you wrap and pull through 2, wrap, pull through 2, wrap, pull through 2.
Right. But if you're doing a half double, you wrap it around once, but you go through it all at the same time.
Yeah, like this.
2.
So you pull through 3 like that.
And that's a half double. Brenda, I knit as well. And so does Sarah.
Yes, I do.
I haven't knitted in a long time, but I love doing it. I was telling everybody on Robin's live that I used to make myself tube tops. I'd knit them. Because I was a surfer. I lived in Southern California. So I'd wear them over my bathing suit top. So here I've done another side. So I did 3 double crochets. And now you chain 1. That gives you the separation. And then you go into that corner. And like she was showing, you wrap it around. You go through, pull, go through 2, go through 2. And that's a double. My mother used to crochet like crazy. She never really learned how to knit. She wanted to learn how, and she asked me to teach her because I learned it when I was 8 years old.
Yeah.
And Robin says, I'm still waiting for that pencil skirt. I was teaching her how to do it, and she's like, well, I'm going to knit a sweater. I said, Mom, I don't think you're ready. And she goes, oh, I'm ready. I've been making sweaters for years. I said, but you've been crocheting them, not knitting them. She goes, I can do it. I said, okay. So she goes off and gets the yarn, and she's knitting away for a few days. And I come home, and I can't see it anywhere. And I says, Mom, where's your knitting? She goes, I finished. I said, can I see it? She goes, no. I said, come on. I want to see your sweater. So she pulled it out. one arm went almost to my knee. The
Oh
other
no.
arm, the other arm was this little shorty, and she threw it in the garbage, and she says, "I'm never knitting again."
Poor thing.
I know, I felt bad for her. Because I told her, I says, "Mom, you didn't give yourself enough time." Because she was good at all. I mean, she was an artist, just like I am.
Yeah.
She painted, she crocheted, she needleworked, she uh, just did all kinds of quilting and everything. But sewed, I mean, she used to sew my Levi's, and everybody thought I had bought them from a designer store. But nope, knitting was not her thing.
I think sometimes people are used to being naturally good at things, and when they have to try a little bit harder, it's frustrating.
Yeah, I think
You
you're
know?
right.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to finish this one up. Oh, I just started. I want to stop because what I'm going to do is start another one, and then I'm going to show you how to
How to
hook them
seam?
together.
Yeah.
So when you get to the end, you just pull it through, and then you just pull it tight, and that tightens it. And I forgot my oops,
I
I
feel
forgot
like
my
I'm
scissors. Hold on.
I'm legit stuck in this corner for all of eternity. Okay, no, I'm not.
Hi,
Sarah,
Denise.
you're fine.
Okay, so you want to leave a little enough so that you can get it on your thread or on your needle if you're normally doing it. But I'm not going to be using this yarn to sew it together, so I'm just going to go ahead and make it just enough to hide it. Yeah, I didn't learn that magic circle until years after I've been crocheting. In fact, it wasn't until I started really getting back into it after many years of babysitting, and I babysat children in my house for 10 years.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I
One is
thought
enough
I,
for me.
well, I'll tell you, as a kid, everyone would ask me, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" And I only had two things that I wanted to be. Well, three: an artist, a mother, and a grandmother.
Aw.
And I got to do them all. And I want more grandkids, but my kids are like, "Oh, I think we're done."
I have three siblings that have not settled down still. Me and
Uh
my
huh.
two olders have, and I'm like, I'm ready for another like niece or nephew
Right.
because the youngest one is 5. I'm like, hello, we need another one.
Well, my one daughter is saying she might have another one. Her
Yeah.
youngest is going to be 3 in May. Um, I don't know. We'll see. My other daughter, who has a one that's going to turn 4 in April, she kept telling me she was going to have another baby, and now she's like, "Nope, we're done."
Yeah.
And my other daughter's definitely done. She, her oldest is going to be 20 this year.
Yeah.
So,
Why
and
the
her
heck?
youngest is almost 16.
Her oldest is almost 16.
Huh?
Her oldest is almost 16.
No, her oldest is almost 20. Her youngest is almost 16.
She's not having any more kids.
No, no, no. She's almost 40.
Well, I'm almost 42, and I
But
might.
she's not married. She doesn't ever want to be married. She doesn't want any more kids.
Well, nobody wants to be married.
I do.
Okay. Sure.
I love being I've been married for almost 39 years.
Well, kind of, you're like one in a million.
There is very far less a lot less than there used to be.
Yeah,
That's for sure.
that's for sure.
But yeah. But my son, he's not even married yet. He wants
Yeah.
to be married, but he refuses just to marry a woman just to be married if she's not willing to fight for the marriage.
Well, yeah, it
You know?
sounds like a wise decision.
Yeah,
What do you think of my square so far, Connie?
that's cute.
It's cute. It's little. It's
It is.
puckering a little bit, but it will be fine, you know.
It spreads out more as you put more in it, on it.
Yeah.
Because mine tries to bow up,
Yeah.
and then it.
It's just because I switched from single to
Double.
yeah.
Yeah, because this one is nice and flat. This one right here.
Well,
Now that I've made it. When I used to connect everything by crocheting it together, I hated it.
because you
Would
got a
leave.
ridge.
Yeah, you have the ridges.
Yeah.
And then I didn't like it at all. So I finally started sewing it. But like I said, my brother is the one who taught me, and it wasn't something he taught me how to do.
So you do a whip stitch or you do an invisible seam?
I do both.
Yeah.
I really like to have an invisible, but I can do both.
Nice. I mean, for me it depends on what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Like if it's a garment, then I'll do an invisible stitch, and if it's like a blanket,
Uh-huh.
I'll do a whip stitch.
Right. Hi, Leah. Yeah, just depends. I know one of my most favorite kind of blankets to crochet is the zigzag.
Yeah.
It gets really heavy,
Yeah, it sure does.
but I love it. I love the way it looks.
So since I'm big, I'll show you how I thread a needle because I'm going to weave in this end, okay?
Okay.
So to put yarn on a tapestry needle is basically a thicker needle that has a big eye hole here, and usually it's not sharp on this tip. So what I do is I take 2 strands, like the yarn, and I fold it in half over the needle, and I pull it up like that, and I pinch the yarn, and then I go like that to get the yarn to come through. And that is how I thread it.
Yep. And I can show them real quick how I thread it. Mine.
Yeah, because it's so funny because like we were saying before, everybody does a little bit different. It's so
We're
we hold
all
our yarn
different.
a little different than each other. We
Right.
do the beginning of our project a little bit different. It's like we each do everything a little bit different.
Good night, Steve C. Okay, so this is my threader. I don't know if you can see that. I can lay it down so you can see it on the. So that's my threader. It's got 2 different sizes. It's got a little tiny hook on one side and a big hook on the other. That depends on what kind of thread or yarn I'm using. And then here's my darning needle. It's the same as hers, I think. So what I do is I put it through, and then I grab the yarn and just pull it through, and it's threaded. Of course, it's hooked to my other stuff, but yeah, that's how I do it. I'm getting old eyes, so I need threaders. Even for my sewing machine.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had to learn how to crochet left-handed a few years ago to teach my left-handed granddaughter. She wanted to learn how to crochet. That was fun.
My mom actually crochets left-handed.
My mom could too. She was ambidextrous, so she could go back
Nice.
and forth. But I'm not. But I've had to force myself, just like when I hand paint my nails. I
Yeah,
I paint both hands, use both hands to paint.
I always admire your nails. They're so
Hi,
beautiful.
Sandra. Oh, thank you. I haven't painted on them much recently. I'm going to get back to it. With all that house stuff I've been doing,
Yeah.
just haven't had the time, to get it all. Okay. Robin says, I plane well with others except during yarn sales. Oh, I scout out good yarn deals.
Oh, yeah. So you've never been to one of those yarn conventions like Stitches or anything?
No, I would love to, though.
Yeah, they have like these major sale booths that you can go to, and it's like insane.
I bet.
I mean, they also have like really like obscure dyers that like you can't get anywhere except if you go to these shows.
Right.
And you can find like yarn for you, although being in the room might irritate you
Because it's
because it's
wool.
basically a huge convention hall full of wool.
I would just have to take something for it before I went in.
Like take a Benadryl or something, whatever works for you.
Yeah. Hi, Nancy.
Hi, Nancy.
Yeah, so I wish I didn't have that problem,
Yeah,
but
I do not envy you.
yeah, I don't think anybody does. That is something, yeah. I've dealt with it
So
my whole
was
life.
that Nancy who does the amigurumi figures?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah, that's impressive that you work with small needle or hooks and stuff like that and thin yarn.
I have those, but
Yeah.
I haven't used them in a long time. I used to crochet lace.
Oh,
Because, see, I've got them. Don't you like my way I keep my in a bottle,
yeah,
a
love it.
baby bottle? But see, this is just some of my crochet hooks. But I've got all these little tiny, they stayed inside. There they are. I've got all the little ones. But I don't use them very often.
No.
Just because it hurts. Hurts my hands
Yeah.
to do that.
I used to recommend to my customers who had issues with carpal tunnel, arthritis, and things like that
Mm-hmm.
to have a couple projects going, and they could have one that was on a bigger hook and one that was on a smaller hook,
Uh-huh.
and they could alternate and
I
give their
do that.
hands a break.
Yeah, I do
Yeah,
that. Plus, you have never
because
seen me.
your hands move differently with the bigger hook than a smaller hook.
Right. I usually have gloves on.
Oh yeah,
It.
you wear the compression gloves?
Yeah, they're right here.
Yeah, very nice. Those help a lot.
See mine. These are what mine look like. They
Yeah,
just go over my hands like that.
yeah, to give you some compression so that you have
Yeah,
it helps
but
with
I don't.
carpal tunnel.
Well, I have carpal tunnel. I have
Yeah,
tendonitis, and I have a trigger finger.
you have the works.
Yes.
That's what we call in the knitting world the works.
Yeah.
The full kit and caboodle.
Mm-hmm. Plus, then I went ahead and decided I'd use my grinder on my hand and cut my hand. Did you see that when that happened? So
wait, yes, but but I didn't see, there wasn't like, I saw it in your video, but you didn't show like any gore, did
well, I
you?
did. Yeah, I did. On
I probably
pictures.
closed my eyes during that part because I can't really handle gore.
Oh, see, I thought it was the coolest looking thing.
You're crazy, woman.
But see, this is the scar. Can you see it? I don't know.
Oh my goodness.
It's just right there.
You
You
know,
can't even.
when I was going on Brenda from Monner's Markets, when I was going on her live, she
Mm-hmm.
was telling me about this time she fell and she hurt her face. And she kept telling me all these details. And I kept saying, please stop.
Right.
And I would say, please, can you tell someone else this story? And she was laughing at me. She didn't understand that I was like, now my face hurts. I can't handle hearing, I get like sympathy pain.
Yeah. It was
It was bad.
it was something else. Am I going too big again? I am. I'm already finished with the second one.
Yeah. Don't make more work for yourself.
Exactly. So, okay, so there's 2 granny squares. And the circles, I went around that so I can just snip this off because it's already been crocheted in.
Mm-hmm.
So those are done. And then when I sew these in, I'll sew them in. When I whip stitch together,
Yeah.
I'll just sew those together and they'll just disappear. But did Sarah or did Robin find Google?
Did she find Google?
Yeah, because she's throwing out all these yarn isms.
Oh boy.
Billy says, "Oh no, Connie cut the yarn. She told Robin to never cut the yarn." Well, I told her never to cut it when it's already crocheted, to cut it. I said, "Don't cut it once crocheted," because she wanted to cut her chain and use it for different things.
Look at my cute little square. Look at this thing.
Oh, let me put you up big. That is cute.
Isn't that cute?
See, yours is denser.
Yeah,
see there,
I'm using a smaller hook.
Yeah.
Than the yarn would maybe call for. And I also tend to crochet a little bit tighter.
Right.
Maybe I have a little more tension in my life.
Yeah, I was telling, I have to, if I want my stitches to be looser.
And I knit this hat too.
It's cute.
Thanks.
I have that hat that I crocheted.
Yeah, tell me what you were saying about knitting something looser.
Oh, no, crocheting. If I want to crochet something.
Oh, crocheting something looser?
Looser, tighter. I have to literally force myself to do it, or it comes out exactly the same as it always does.
Yeah, and Connie, to be perfectly honest, the only thing that you really can do is use a different size hook.
Yeah.
Because
your hands get used to it.
Your muscle memory isn't gonna
change.
Tolerate you just telling yourself not to do something.
Exactly, because the second you're not paying attention, you go right back to it.
It goes right back to the old habits. So
yeah. Someone asked me, well, how do you, my daughter asked me, she goes, Mom, if you're crocheting something and you put it down for a year, how can you pick it back up and make sure that you're going to have the same tension and your stitches are going to be the same? Are you freezing up?
Me? No.
Oh, okay. Good. I couldn't
just
tell you were looking
listening.
down. You were looking down. Okay. She goes, how are you going to make sure that it's the same? I said, it's muscle memory. Your muscles know exactly what you want to do.
Yes.
Even, many
Well,
years
tension
ago.
can sometimes change.
What?
Like your tension can sometimes change. I will have to say that. Like sometimes, like if you're really stressed out, you might hold your yarn a little tighter. Or if you're more relaxed, you might hold your yarn a little looser. But in general, you're going to be working pretty much the same as you usually would. But like there is a little bit of variety sometimes, but not so much so that it's going to affect your overall project.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
so when my daughter was 2.5 years old, I had to have major foot surgery.
Oh
And
man, that's hard with a 2-year-old.
I was babysitting too.
Of
And
course you were.
and well, what ended up happening is I decided, because I was going to be on crutches for 8 weeks, that I wanted to have something to do. So I bought enough yarn to crochet 4 blankets, one for each one of my kids, that summer. Oh, that's cute.
It's the center of my next.
Yes. Good night, Zaina. I think Brenda left too.
Okay. Yeah, it's probably past their bedtimes because we're staying up.
Robin said always check your gauge. I don't do that.
Well. So like, I feel like, so for 10 years I had this responsibility to tell people to check their gauge.
Yes.
Here's the thing. If you're trying to make something that's going to fit and you've never used the yarn before, I would recommend swatching.
I agree.
But if you've used the yarn before and you know how you hook with it, you know how you crochet.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I've used most of the yarns that I've used before. So I'm pretty sure like that I know how to work it,
Right.
But technically you should encourage people to swatch.
Yes. I know.
Because then people come back and they say, well, you said this much yarn would make a blanket, but I can only make half a blanket and it's really wide.
Okay, so I started a sweater or a top last night. And it said, first of all, it was having me use a J. No. What was it? I can't remember. It was a pretty big an I hook, which is pretty big. And it said to chain 119 stitches. And this was only 2 pieces. So the front and the back. And then when you put it together, then you do the collar and then you do the little cap sleeves.
Okay.
Well, I did the 119. It almost went around me completely.
Right, because you weren't on gauge.
Exactly. Exactly.
My point exactly. If you want it to fit, you either have to adjust the pattern or you have to adjust your gauge.
Right. Because I had it called for worsted yarn. So I had the right one. And I think I was on.
You needed to change your hook size.
Yes, that was it. My stitches were just too big.
Yeah.
So
did you change your hook size?
Well, I will when I pick it back up to do it. I will. Because it was just, I'm like, I'm not this big.
Yeah. The other thing that people need to remember is that these like patterns are being written by other crocheters and they write it based on what their gauge is. So let's say somebody crochets really tight.
Yes.
That doesn't mean that you're going to get that exact gauge on that exact yarn with that exact hook.
Right.
That's just what they accomplish. That doesn't mean that's what you're going to accomplish. You might have to do something different.
I usually don't do a whole gauge, but I'll do like a little bit of chain, and then I'll do the second row. Then I can kind of gauge what it's going to be. But I don't do the whole swatch. I haven't done that
I
in
don't
years.
do like a 4" by 4" swatch. I usually will throw like maybe 8 stitches on, you know.
Right.
6 or 8 stitches.
And to see where you're at.
Just
I
see
do
what the
that.
fabric
I just don't
looks
do
like
that. Right.
religiously.
Yeah. Yeah. But so
I
often
see you.
I
know who you are. I had so many clients like you. They just didn't want to swatch.
I've been doing it for so long. And a lot of times I make my own patterns. I don't use a lot of pre-done patterns.
Yeah.
A lot of times, because I'm a sewer, I just use the pattern for clothes, and I crochet to fit that pattern.
Yeah.
So there's no swatch involved. But
I hear you, girl.
I'm one of those people.
Mm-hmm. How many corners did I give this thing?
I hope only 4.
It looks like 5. How did that happen? I'll tell you, when I normally knit or crochet, I do it in bed with nobody bothering me. No offense, Scotty.
That's okay. I've gotten so used to crocheting around people while I'm talking that I don't even think about what I'm doing. I'm just do it. And literally, when I was
I'm good if like other people are talking around, but I'm not great. Okay, so Leah's asking me to explain gauge. So let me explain what a gauge is. And it's actually true for knitting and for crochet.
Yes, it is.
How you measure it. So you take your handy dandy tape measure.
Tape measure.
Gosh, that was hard. And what you do is you knit or you crochet a square piece of fabric. So like I could get a swatch off of my granny square, although I did use a few different stitches. Normally you would do like just a regular square piece in whatever pattern you're using for the project. So if you're doing a garter stitch, if you're doing stockinette, if you're doing single crochet, if you're doing double crochet, whatever pattern you're using for the actual project, that's how you're going to swatch. And you make a small piece of fabric, like 2" by 2". Some people do 4" by 4". Some people will wash and block their piece before they measure it. Am I right, Connie?
Yeah, yeah.
I do not.
Me either.
Neither does Connie, because Connie doesn't even bother doing anything. So
I do a little.
Can you make my camera big so that they can see me measuring my piece?
I can.
I'm gonna measure crochet and knitting, but I'm gonna just show. Okay, so for knitting, you're gonna measure across 2 inches, and each of these V's that you see here, that's 1 stitch. So if I start at the 1, I'm gonna count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is 4 stitches in 1 inch, and then I can measure row gauge. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm getting 4 stitches and 6 rows to 1 inch on my hat. And the same would be for crochet. So you would count how many rows and how many inches. And then what you can do with that information is you can then say, okay, well, I want to make a hat, and the normal circumference of a hat is 20 inches. If I'm getting 4 stitches to 1 inch and I need to make something 20 inches, I'm going to cast on 80 stitches. And then it's going to be different for knitting. It's going to be different for crocheting because a lot of crochets are crocheted top down. So what you're going to figure is, okay, well, I have to get up to 20 inches. So you're going to have to figure out how many do you have to increase to get to what number of crochet stitches. Right, Connie?
Yes.
So the swatch is going to give you that information. Or let's say you're like, okay, well, my bust line or my shoulder width, whatever you want for like your garment, that measurement, you can then apply that to the inch number to the stitch count. And then if you have to say, okay, well, I need to get to my waist measurement, from my shoulder measurement down to my waist measurement, and you can say my shoulder to my waist is 10 inches. So in 10 inches, that's 60 rows, because I was getting 6 rows to an inch. In 60 rows, I need to cut down, 5 inches. So I have to take that many. I mean, this is like pattern design stuff.
Right.
So it's more complex than basics. And I'm talking more about knitting because, as Connie knows, I'm much more of a knitter than a crocheter. I started out crocheting, but I'm definitely more of an expert knitter and just like a lover of crochet.
Yeah,
and Connie probably knows a lot more about crochet than I do.
I've done a lot more, but I started knitting first.
Isn't that funny? You started knitting first and I started crochet first. Yeah. And look how we ended up.
Well, and part of it is I learned how to crochet or how to knit in church when I was 5th grade. We did a knitting course. And I picked it up, and no one else did. I started knitting like crazy. And then a year or so later is when I started learning how to crochet, but I was already really good at crocheting. Yeah. By the time I learned how to, I learned how to knit a lot better. And was knitting everything. In fact, I got in trouble at school because the teacher said I was taking it home and my mom was knitting it. Because I would, crochet or knit a whole bunch and bring it back the next day, and she'd say, "Your mom did that." No, she didn't. So that's a whole story.
She better not mess with Connie.
Or my mom. What? Yeah, my mom was. She was. I learned from her.
Yeah. So what videos do you have coming up in the next week?
I have nothing this coming week. Nothing.
No?
I haven't decided if I'm going to do any because I'm going to be working finishing my kitchen and painting my dining room.
Are you filming any of that?
I probably will, yeah. And then
I love seeing people redo rooms. I find that so inspiring. Like it makes me want to do stuff around my house.
Yeah, in my dining room, I'm just going to paint it because I've just got the original hardwood floors. I'm not doing anything to them.
That was the room that you did the shelving for the Power Up Collab, right?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I can't wait to see that.
Yeah, so it's probably going to be the wall above that, or it'll be my other wall. I have a 150-year-old window sitting on a bureau, and I'm going to redecorate that wall. once I get to that point. I think I haven't decided, but yeah, I am starting my 4th granny square.
Your 4th?
Yeah.
I don't want to talk to you.
I crochet really fast.
You really do. I'll tell you what though, I've been knitting and not crocheting like since we started talking about all this, and we've been talking about starting to do some of needle arts on like together.
Yes.
I've been doing a lot of knitting.
Right.
And so that's what I've been working on, not crocheting.
Right. And I probably should pick up my knitting needles and use them. Because I haven't done it in so long.
Well, once I get my hands on you.
Yeah, I love to knit.
Yeah. Do you knit English or continental?
I don't know, I knit.
Right?
I don't know the difference.
Do you hold the yarn in your right hand or your left hand?
Left. You mean the yarn, the string?
Yeah, like your working yarn.
Yeah. I hold it in my left hand.
And do you wrap it or do you pick?
I wrap.
Okay. So you're kind of a mix of both.
Oh. Okay.
So you're like an English continental knitter.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to watch. I'll have you on my live, and I'll have to watch you knit, and I'll tell you.
Okay.
It's honestly, it's common. It's not uncommon for that.
Right.
To happen.
That's just how they taught me, and
I know. Have you ever met anybody that knits mirrored?
No. What is that?
Okay, so like I had people come in like a lot of people. I mean, probably not a lot of people to a normal person, but because I had the shop for 10 years, I had quite a few people come in. And what happens is they sat across from somebody and learned to knit, and they mirrored. So they did it backwards. So what they saw is what they could see in front of them, and so they did the mirror. And so every pattern they ever knit, they had to do the opposite of.
Oh,
so like instead of knitting into the front of the stitch, they knit into the back of the stitch. And isn't that crazy?
Yes. Yeah. That is totally crazy.
Nuts, right?
Yeah.
Nuts.
Yeah, anytime I've ever taught anybody, I always have them sit next to me.
Yeah, that's the right way to do it.
Yeah, so they can see exactly what I'm doing. And that's how they taught me how to do it.
Yeah.
But my aunt, she kept telling me I was knitting wrong. I said, no, I'm not. And she's like, why are you wrapping it?
Yeah, because she wanted you to pick, because that's how most people that hold their yarn in their left hand pick.
That's what she was telling me. And I'm like, I don't want to do it.
I hate to break it to you, but she's not wrong.
Well, she wasn't. Yeah. I don't know who she learned it from, because she was my mother's sister, and they all kind of learned a lot of stuff when they were growing up.
Yeah.
And my mom always wrapped everything.
You know what? It's like a lot of times it's like a comfortable habit. Kind of like, do you remember when you were teaching Robin and she kept like pulling, she was like not wanting to hold it the way you were holding it?
Yes.
That's the same type of thing. Like, so she wrapped because that was what was comfortable for her.
Right.
And she taught, and you learned that way because that's how she did it. It's the same thing. Like I was telling you, you do things the way you were taught because of who you taught you.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm a really, really, really stubborn person, if you don't know.
This is all shocking news to me, honey.
I didn't think most people who know me know I'm a very stubborn person. So.
No.
Oh. Yeah, when I caught on fire as a child, oh, I was the most stubborn child.
That was an odd transition. You caught on fire when you were a child?
Yeah,
What, I mean, that sounds scary.
it was. I almost died.
I could imagine.
I caught on fire from a gas stove.
Oh my.
Yeah, I spent a month and in the burn unit at the University of Utah, and then I
Wow.
got to go home for a week, and then they took me back for 2 more weeks because they had to do skin grafting.
Oh, you poor thing.
Yeah, I was 4.5.
Oh, little baby.
Yeah, I was spunky. Yeah. They
It's
the doctor
amazing.
told my mom the day it happened. They pulled her out of the room and they were standing by the doorway, and the doctor said she's not going to make it. She's got too much smoke in her lungs and she's got lung damage and she's not going to make it. We don't think she'll even survive the night.
Oh, your
I
mom must have been
heard,
so scared.
yeah, but I heard the doctor tell my mom that.
No.
Oh, yes, I did. And she came back in crying, and I looked at her and I said, Mom, I'm not dying. And she just looked at me and I said, Mom, I'm not dying tonight. That's not going to happen.
You're not going to get rid of me that easy.
So she just gave me a hug and whatnot. And the next morning, they came in and they checked me, and I had no smoke inhalation and no smoke damage to my lungs.
Wow.
And when my mom got back to the hospital, I told her, I said, see, I told you I wasn't going to die.
Yeah. Next time,
I'm too stubborn.
I am way too stubborn.
Yeah.
Wow.
I have a huge scar, but I still was a surfer. I still walked all over the beach in a bikini, and I didn't care. So, yeah.
Yeah, wear your scars with pride.
Huh?
Wear your scars with pride.
Of course yeah. There's no way I wouldn't. In fact, a few people would stare at me and I'd say, you could take a picture, it'd last longer. I said, what, you want to touch it? Like, no! I said, stop staring at it. Oh.
So here's my second square.
Awesome.
It's not as big as the first. I'm going to do 2 and then I'm going to steam them together. It will be Barbie's blanket.
I am finishing my 4th.
You're such a show off. Wait till we're knitting and I'll be like, I just whipped out this sweater.
Yeah. Exactly. If I can get fast again, I'll be just as fast because I used to knit really fast too.
You used to crank it out.
Oh yeah. I don't have time to play around.
Okay.
Just like when I
No, I see you cranking out those crochet patterns, like those crochet projects. Like when I see you on the lives, you're always working on the new thing and you finish stuff very quickly.
Yeah. All right. There's my 4th one.
Is everybody saying what I'm having to put up with? She's such a show off.
I can't help it. Oh,
I'm getting distracted by our chat and like not even working at all.
I know.
You're working through the whole thing and I'm just like, and then what happened?
Okay, so there's my 4. I'm going to make myself big so I can show. Now I'm going to use white yarn instead of the burgundy so you can see the stitches.
That's smart, yeah.
So.
And you're using a whip stitch because that is not going to leave a ridge on either side.
Right.
And normally Connie would be using yarn the same color as her granny square, and you wouldn't see it at all. It would look as if the granny squares were all one piece.
Right. But because I want you guys to be able to see what I'm doing,
Yeah.
that's why I'm doing it. So I usually turn mine over because there's a right and a wrong.
There sure
You
is.
can see. And so I always turn mine and put the right sides together so that I have my stitches. So can you guys see that? See how that ridge? I'm going to be sewing, whip stitching these outer stitches together. And I don't tie a knot because I don't want a knot being there.
Well, knots are like the enemy of knitting and crochet because a knot can come untied. If you weave your end in really well, it'll never come out.
Right. Just like if you're sewing on a pillow and you want to hide your
Thread.
end,
Yeah.
you thread, you push your needle into the center of the pillow and then push it out the other side and cut it, and that end will never come out.
Yeah.
So as you can see, I'm whip stitching it.
Have you seen the little animals that are created out of granny squares?
Yes.
Are they not the cutest things ever?
Yes,
Okay.
they are.
The hippo is my favorite.
I love lions. Lions and giraffes are my favorite, but lions, oh, I love lions.
I guarantee Nancy has seen them because she's into the amigurumi.
Right. Hi, Mary. Trying to, yeah. I think Robin and Billy are keeping up on the chat there, talking to everybody. Yeah, I've never tried making those little tiny animals.
I think it would really bother your hands, to be honest with you, but you could make them in a bigger gauge. You don't have to make them tiny.
I would have to because they look so cute, but then I just look at them like, oh, that looks like pain.
Yeah. So just make them in a larger size. Like, it's okay to make them bigger.
Right. Okay, so these two first pieces are done. And when you open it, you can see it, but that's because it's white.
Right.
But if it was the same color, you would not be able to see it.
Not at all.
Mm-mm. So now, instead of, I'm going to cheat, and I'm going to start right here. I'm going to do it all in one time. One shot. Have you ever done that?
Yeah.
Where you don't stop, you just put on the next piece.
Oh, yeah.
I just hope I got enough yarn out so that I don't have to cut it. And a lot of times, long before they ever used to, no one ever taught me how to hide my ends. And
no,
when I started crocheting, no one ever taught me. So I would just thread them, use my crochet hook, and I would just thread them deep into the project.
Yeah.
And then I would just cut it, and then they never come out. So I thought, okay, well, that's what I'm going to do. And then I started seeing people sew it, and I'm like, well, I would crochet them together, but then like then sewing is so much easier.
So much. Especially if you are working an intricate pattern. Like these granny squares, you can easily hide an end.
Yes.
But like if you're working like on lace like you do, like you need to be able to sew it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my goodness, Connie, it would be so
Colleen.
cute. What about like crocheted, instead of granny squares, you make circles and made like a snowman?
Oh, that would be cute.
So, you know what made me think of that is because I have a little one and a big one.
Oh, yeah,
What
definitely.
can Sarah make in an hour?
Yeah.
Can Sarah DIY it? No.
Okay, so I've gotten 3 of my pieces together,
Hmm. Okay.
and I want to put this one down here. So, how do you do that without cutting it? I'd know how.
Without cutting what?
My thread, my yarn. My end is up there.
Oh, I would just slip the yarn through all the way down.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. It makes for using a lot more yarn, but it's okay. It works.
Yeah, and then you also have one less thing to weave in.
This is true.
It is important though that you give ease because you don't want that part of the fabric. Like once you pull it through to the other end, like tug on your fabric a little bit so that it still has the same stretchiness that you want it to have.
Oh, yes.
Like, yeah, exactly like what Connie's doing.
Yeah, you have to
Perfect.
stretch it so that
Yeah.
you don't.
So you don't lose the elasticity.
Right. The worst thing you can do to yarn is to pull it so tight that it won't stretch.
Yes.
See, I could pull it tight. See that?
And
You
it
don't
would
want to do
cinch
that.
it, and you don't want that in a seam.
You want to pull it
Yes.
out so that you can, yeah.
I'm seeing Favi's on here.
Hey, Fabi.
And did we know Sandra was here?
Yeah, Sandra Buckley.
Yes.
I've known her for a long time. Okay, so now I'm going to put this last piece in.
Nancy, what do you mean by blanket yarn? Is she
She
talking
want me
about chenille? Do you think she's talking about chenille?
that or the great big giant thick? I don't
Is that
know.
called blanket yarn? I've never heard of anything called blanket yarn.
I think people just call it blanket yarn.
The big thick stuff?
That's what
Like arm knitting?
I would call it that.
I'll see if she comments.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Favi, you just sent her some yarn?
Awesome. I need more yarn. I love yarn.
Hey, just out of curiosity, what do you think you're gonna do with that gradient? Because there's a good amount of yardage on there. Did you look at the label? There's like a pretty good amount of yardage.
Let me get it. I was looking at it.
Do you ever do like a triangular wrap?
I have.
Because I think that would be really pretty with the gradient.
Yeah. Yeah, you want me to read something I can't see?
Oh, you don't have to read it. It doesn't have, I mean, you can.
Gosh,
Sorry.
I can't read that.
I'm sorry, sweetie. If
I
I
don't
don't
have
have
my
another
phone.
ball of it, I would have sent it in the box if I did. Otherwise I'd read it for you.
No, that's okay. Yeah, in fact, I was actually looking at a pattern of the triangular, like
Yeah.
you put your arms, it's a triangle and it comes
Yeah.
in front of you. Yes. Yeah.
Yes. So do you use Ravelry.com?
I have.
Because what you can do is you can go on Ravelry and you can type in the name of that yarn.
Okay.
And it will pull up everything that anyone else has made with that yarn.
Oh, okay.
And then you can specify crochet or knitting, whatever you want to do with that yarn.
Right.
And it'll pull up what everybody's done. You can also say that you only have one ball of that yarn, and you can
Oh,
see what everybody's done with one ball of that yarn.
okay.
And
You know
like
what?
you'll get thousands of results, and you can just go through, and then you can say, I really like that. And you can, you know what I mean? It's actually really cool. The
Right,
different things you can do on Ravelry, like that I didn't know in the beginning of using it.
right.
Yeah.
Now I used to make those really frilly, ruffly
Scarves,
scarves.
the potato chip scarves.
Yes, I've got lots of that
That's what
yarn.
they were called, potato chip scarves.
Yeah, I used to sell them because it takes me, well, maybe I shouldn't tell you how long it takes me to make one, but
It should not take you very long. I could not imagine it takes very long.
about 10 minutes.
I was gonna say, yeah, it's like a heartbeat.
Yeah, and I would sell them for $12 a piece.
And yeah, and that you could sell them for more than that because people don't know that it takes you 10 minutes.
Exactly.
It looks
Yeah,
like it looks like a lot more work than that.
right. Okay, now I just have one more side to hook together. So now this week,
Mary's kind of crafty, loves a Ravelry. Well, now I love Mary. Well,
yeah,
I kind of love her.
yeah. So I'm just gonna weave this back through.
Okay, so Nancy's saying Bernat blanket yarn.
Oh, Burnett, I've got some of that.
You do? Okay.
Yeah, that's what it's called, Burnett. I didn't even think about it till she said that.
Got it. Okay, I don't know that I know that, but next time I'm at one of the craft stores, I'll look.
Yeah, I don't get to go to the craft stores very often.
You know, I don't really go either because my house, I have so much
Yeah. Well, for
that it really
me,
is almost a crime if I buy more.
well, yeah,
Oh,
for
Mary's in
me.
Wisconsin. I'm on the border of Illinois and Wisconsin.
Oh, cool.
Mary, let's hang out.
Yeah, and see, and where I live, I'm out in the middle of nowhere.
Nancy, I have patterns published on Ravelry, designs by Sarah Osepic, or you can look up Mia Bella. That was my old store if you want to find it. And I'm gonna look up. I want to look up Nancy. That's so
Cool.
cool.
Okay. I'm almost back to the center, and then I'll have that last one to put together.
And then what do we have?
We have a much bigger little blanket.
I
Okay.
can't with you. And then we have a bigger square.
Okay.
Oh my god.
You know, my husband tells me I'm funny all the time. I said, no, I'm not. He goes, oh, yes, you are. Some of the things you say, he'll like, you know, that statement. Someone will say, how can you say that? You know, if you say something like
Yeah.
rude or whatever. And this one time he goes, Connie, how can you say that? And I said, I used my words and I said da 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 da. And he's like, that's not how you're supposed to answer that question.
You
Because
do have you have good timing for sure.
I try.
Timing.
Well, I don't try
That's good
actually. It
stuff.
just comes. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. So this is almost finished. It really is cute too. And I was going to say, Robin, see this color? It's burgundy. She couldn't figure out burgundy last night.
What was she calling it?
She was trying to make burgundy.
I mean, you can either call it aubergine, burgundy. You could call it maroon.
Maroon, to me, has a little bit more of an orange.
Yeah, maroon is like a lighter burgundy.
Yeah.
Aubergine is more purple. That's
right.
What the color you're using is definitely burgundy.
Yeah. Okay, look at that. Isn't that my nice big square? Good. Of course, it looks funny there, but when you add more on, it pulls that
Also,
up.
if you blocked it, you could make it perfect.
Yes. And I didn't have time to block it.
Or if you put an edging around it.
A lot of times I do edging to clean it up, especially if I
Well,
don't
yeah,
have.
then you can hide anything that looks a little wonky.
Yeah, exactly. And all these ends that I have to weave in.
Mm-hmm.
But this one, I didn't realize this yarn had been cut and had an end that was tied. So, yeah. Let me see if I can find that. Oh, here, it's right here. Oh, wait, no, it's not. Hold on just a minute. Here's that little thing that I made. Let me make myself bigger. This little hat thing.
Oh, that's the headband, like the ear warmer. That is so darn cute.
Yeah, let me
I
put
love
it
that
on.
twist at the top.
Yeah, let me put it on. Even though I don't really like hats.
Let me see.
So you can see it right there.
Oh, I love that. That's perfect. And I could wear that. You know how I always wear my hair in a bun on top? I could wear that. That would be perfect for me.
Yeah.
I'm not hinting at anything, but you do have my address.
Yes.
And I look lovely in a cream.
Yeah.
Or white. It looks just my size.
Yeah. It's really cute. No. I made one of these similar that a couple of weeks ago for my granddaughter, but I didn't put this top part.
That's the part I think is so special about it.
Yeah, hers.
I love the twist in the front.
Yeah, it's actually just wrapped around there.
It's so cute.
Yeah.
Oh, so you just wrapped it around to tighten it in the front.
Well, yeah. So what I did is I sewed the rib. So you can see it's a rib stitch. It's a crocheted rib stitch, and I did a great big long one. And then when I got to this, I just took the one corner, and I left this part all open. And then I crocheted the lace on, and then in a tube. And when I got to this end, then I just wrapped this around it, and then I went back and crocheted that or sewed that together.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah, it's really cute. I've got an end sticking out. Not no more. But yeah, I really like that one. And then my blanket, I ran out of black yarn. I got to go buy some more black yarn.
You're doing black.
Huh?
You're crocheting black?
Yeah.
You're a maniac.
Why?
I don't know.
What makes me a maniac?
Well, I mean, most people don't want to knit or crochet with black because it's hard to, if you lose a stitch. Well, I guess crochet is a little bit easier than knitting with working with that color yarn.
I've used it for both. What?
I know, but you know what I'm talking about. A lot of people, like, if they can't see, people that are like terrified of dropping stitches.
Yeah, especially when you are.
I mean, for me, I've knit like multiple sweaters in black. A lot of people are scared to do things in black.
Well, one of the first things that they taught me when they taught me how to knit was how to pick up a drop stitch. So I'm not afraid of dropping a stitch because I know how to pick it back up.
Yeah.
So that makes it okay. But I've always just done it, but it's right here. Let me show you. Here's one of my squares that I did in black.
Wait, is this part of that one that you were doing the tweed?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know you were including black in that.
It's because the tweed has black specks.
Okay.
So it's the
All right.
tweed.
I can't wait to see this thing put together. It's going to be great.
Yeah, I've got all the beige. I've got all the tweed done. Now I'm just doing the black. And I ran out of black, so I've got to buy a couple more skeins of black so I can finish it. Yeah. But I can whip one of these out in a couple hours.
Yeah, I've crocheted most of the blankets. There is a really, really cool crochet pattern that is really good for teaching crochet.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna find the pattern and I'm gonna send it to you.
Okay.
But you're gonna love it. I'm gonna send it to you. It's a free
Cool.
pattern from Ravelry.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I get a
I'll
lot of
think
their
of it.
free patterns.
Maybe I'll post it on my community tab for anybody that's interested.
Oh, cool.
But it's a great learning tool. And the pattern's written really well in it. But the pattern's like 30 pages long. So you just need to like download it and look at it on your like iPad or your computer or whatever.
Uh-huh.
Like I just put it on my phone and look at it because it's too many pages to print.
Yeah. Oh, Fabi says, and I refuse to pull a project. My mother can pull a whole foot's worth of project because she missed the stitch. I can do the same thing. I have no problems pulling and starting over.
Yeah, if you can't, yeah. I mean, if you can't stand ripping, then you need to not drop stitches.
Well, even in crochet.
So either don't mess up or you got to get ready to rip. Those are
Right.
the two options.
Yeah, exactly.
Why would you spend all that time making something to have it not be perfect? That's me though. I'm OCD. Like I make my stuff, people think like it's like store bought.
Right.
It's perfect. I don't make stuff that's not perfect.
Right.
Because why would you?
Exactly. Yep. So this is great. I had so much fun.
I had so much fun. Thank you so much for inviting me on your channel. I really appreciate it.
And next week with Zaina, we haven't quite figured out what we're going to be doing yet.
I can't wait to watch. I really love her. She's co-hosting the Power Up collab with me in February, and she just has such great energy. So you guys are going to have fun next week.
Yeah, she is a dear friend and a sweetheart. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Like I said, we have to figure out what we're going to do, and then I'm trying to find some other people. I'd like to do one with painting because I love to paint.
I can't wait to watch. I love your ideas for your lives. Are very interesting. I think it's going to be really cool.
Cool. Yeah, so I wanted, and I would like to do one of nail painting.
That will be so fun.
To show you guys how I paint my nails.
I support that 100%.
Yeah, so, yeah, I am. I don't want to be like everybody else. I'm me.
And you should absolutely embrace that.
Yeah. So that is what I'm looking at doing, at least for a little while, for the next couple of weeks. I've got an idea of one person who is a painter too. I think I'm going to ask her if she would like to do it.
That's so incredible. I can't wait for that one.
Thank you, Fabi. I just put makeup on. I don't hardly ever put makeup on.
And her hair is down. Look how pretty her hair is.
Yeah. It's down.
Fabi, do I look pretty?
Of course you do.
You just telling Connie? I'm just kidding. I'm just messing with Fabi.
Oh, yeah. So, yep, that's what I have planned. So I hope you had a great time, of course. I'm glad you did. I'm glad you came. And I hope everyone had fun watching us crochet.
Yeah.
And I guess we will duck out because I don't want to run out of time. We only have 20 hours in a month. So.
Well, thanks again, Connie. Have an awesome
You're
night.
welcome. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Tiff. And
Good
thank you,
night.
Mary. Good night.